Right now, August 1st, 2026, Spain is in the middle of a crisis. 60,000 people have crossed from Morocco into Ceuta, a small piece of Spanish territory that sits right on the Moroccan coast. Spain declared a state of emergency. The city, which normally houses around 85,000 people, was completely overwhelmed. Most news coverage is treating it as an immigration story, but it is also something else, a pressure campaign, a political message. And to understand who is sending that message and why, you need to know the background. Because the timing of this crisis is not random. It happened the same week as Morocco's king's anniversary celebration. The same week, the US reaffirmed its support for Moroccan territorial claims. The same week, Israel's ambassador to the UN publicly mocked Spain on social media. That's a lot of coincidences. Let's break it down. Spain has two cities that sit on the coast of Morocco, Ceuta and Melilla. They both have been Spanish for centuries. Melilla since 1497, Ceuta since 1580. Spain considers them part of Spanish national territory, like any other Spanish city. Morocco disagrees. It has always considered these cities to be Moroccan land held by a foreign power. Morocco wants them back. For decades, this has been mostly a simmering dispute. Morocco complains, Spain ignores it, and not much happens. But over the last few years, Morocco has gotten significantly more powerful friends. And those friends are now helping Morocco apply pressure on Spain in ways that were not possible before. The two most important of those friends are the United States and Israel. In 2020, the Trump regime brokered a deal. Morocco agreed to formally recognize Israel, which it had never done before. In exchange, the United States recognized Morocco's claim over Western Sahara, a disputed territory to Morocco's south that the UN considered a separate, non-self-governing territory. That deal changed the entire regional picture. Morocco went from being a country with a modest military to being one of the best armed nations in Africa almost overnight. Israel started supplying Morocco with advanced drones, missile defense systems, and military technology. The two countries signed a formal military cooperation agreement. By early 2026, they had held multiple joint military committee meetings in Tel Aviv. For the United States, Morocco is valuable for a simple reason. It sits right at the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea, controls the Atlantic approach to Europe, and has enormous mineral resources, including rare earth minerals that the US needs for its technology and defense industries. In February 2026, Washington and Morocco signed a memorandum for exploiting those minerals. In April, they agreed a 10-year defense cooperation roadmap. Morocco is now, functionally, a military partner to both the United States and Israel. And Ceuta and Melilla, the Spanish cities on Morocco's coast, are right in the middle of all this. Spain has been doing things that make it very unpopular with the US-Israeli-Morocco alliance, and the timeline matters. In October 2025, Spain imposed a complete arms embargo on Israel in protest of the war in Gaza. It was one of the strongest positions taken by any European government. Then, Spain refused to take part in or allow any of its territory to be used for US and Israeli military operations against Iran. The US reportedly considered suspending Spain from certain NATO privileges over this. Pete Hegseth publicly called out European allies who wouldn't cooperate with the Iran campaign. Trump himself called Spain terrible. And then, on July 20th, 2026, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez flew to Algeria. This was a big deal. Algeria and Morocco are bitter rivals. They have a long-running feud over Western Sahara, where Algeria backs the independent movement that Morocco is trying to crush. Spain and Algeria have been on bad terms since 2022, when Spain supported Morocco's position on Western Sahara. By making up with Algeria, Spain was signaling that it was stepping back from the pro-Moroccan position it had taken 4 years earlier. Morocco was furious, and 10 days later, the border at Ceuta was opened. The timing is almost impossible to separate from the politics. Israeli UN Ambassador Danny Danon, who represents a country that had just been embargoed by Spain, posted on social media mocking Spain's crisis. He called Ceuta and Melilla colonial enclaves in Africa and suggested Spain had no business criticizing Israel. Spain's transport minister looked at that post and responded publicly, "Well, it all seems becoming quite clear." A US think tank called the Middle East Forum, tied to Marco Rubio, published a piece in March 2026 openly calling for Morocco to send people with bulldozers into Ceuta, raise the Moroccan flag, and claim the territory. The same outlet published an Israeli opinion piece recommending Israel use its influence in Washington to help Morocco take back Ceuta. None of this is secret. These people are saying this out loud. To be clear about what we know and what we don't, no one has produced a document proving that the United States or Israel told Morocco to open the Ceuta border. That is important to say. What is documented in public statements, signed agreements, and the words of the people involved is this: the United States has given Morocco military support, diplomatic cover over Western Sahara, and a 10-year defense partnership. Israel has given Morocco advanced weapons and military cooperation. Morocco has openly used the Ceuta border as a pressure lever against Spain before, and admitted it. Spain has refused to join US-Israeli operations against Iran, embargoed Israel, and just visited Morocco's biggest rival, and in the same week as Morocco's national celebration. As the US reaffirms its support for Morocco, and as Israeli diplomats were publicly mocking Spain, 6,000 people crossed that border. The incentive structure is clear. Morocco has every reason to squeeze Spain right now, and has powerful friends backing it up. Spain is isolated, caught between a US that is angry at it for not supporting its war in Iran, and Israel that it had embargoed over a genocide in Gaza, and a Morocco that wants its cities back. Whether anyone in Washington or Tel Aviv made a phone call is something we may never know for certain. But the countries that could have told Morocco to keep that border closed didn't. And the countries that could have stopped this from happening chose not to. That is the story. That is all the moving parts. Make of it what you will.